All right, folks. I hope you can hear me. All right, so it seems like you can. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. All right, so I'm just going to wait for a minute while everybody comes online. We do have a little delay, so let's just see how this works out. All right, hopefully that's going to be a little bit more light. Let me get everybody over here to this site and see. If you're just waiting for this to start, thank you so much for waiting. I've been trying to get this all like streaming, and so I had to start a new stream. I'm just going to let the other channel know to come over here, the other stream that I set up, and then we'll be ready. All right, so I've sent out the message on the other video. There is a little lag here, folks, but I think you can hear me, so I am going to go ahead and start the video. All right. Let me just wait for a few. I'm just gonna wait a few more minutes for people to come over. And then we're gonna get started. I guess I'll just start at 10 o'clock, so it's like a much later than I thought it would be. It's a whole hour later, but I do apologize. Alright, let me just take off the volume from the video so that you guys aren't hearing me. Alright, cool. So, alright, sounds good to me. So far, so good. I'm going to go ahead and keep shuffling. Let me just update this really quickly. Let people know we're over here. All right, and we're going to get into it in a minute. This is going to be Sagittarius reading. Put this thumbnail out. Couple more minutes. There you go. All right, so I have updated everything so people can see. This is the live stream now. Let me just put 2 more minutes, we're going to get started. I'm going to start the reading. All right, it's 10 o'clock. That means it is time for me to get started. It's been long enough. Hopefully, people will come to the stream and we can get on with it. And I'm going to just get right into the reading. So this is going to be the reading, everyone, for Sagittarius. All right, and we're going to get right into the love reading for October. All right, guys. So hopefully people will join us in a little while, and that's fine too. But let's get into it. What I usually do is we're going to get right into pulling your romance angel oracle cards. Now, this is for anybody who has a sun, moon, Venus, or rising sign in Sagittarius. And it's generally going to be in any area of love. So, for instance, if you're calling in love, if you're already with your partner, whatever the case may be, we're going to see what is maybe going on for you this month. All right, Sagittarius. Now, I myself am a Sagittarius. I have my Sun, Jupiter, Mercury, and Uranus in Sagittarius, and I chose the Sagittarius video to do the live stream of for that reason, because I love being a Sagittarius, and I just thought it would be fun for us all to kind of look at the monthly together. All right, so let's get into your romance angel cards for the month. I pulled 2 cards out, and the first one is going to be heart-to-heart conversations. All right, so this is, of course, opening up your heart chakra, you know, being communicative with each other, you know, things like that. Certainly true love. There we go. So that's the other one, heart-to-heart conversations with your true love. I mean, what else could be better? So this is quite nice for the month. And so what we're going to do is we won't really know what that all entails until we get into your spread. But before that, we're going to go ahead and pull out your angel, your animal spirits for the month. All right. Let's see what that all entails for you. When we're talking about heart-to-heart conversations and true love, it's a good sign, right? But with the animal spirits, we want to know what you and your person, what kind of energy you might be resonating with this month. All right. So let's see what that is for you, Sagittarius. And this is, of course, for October. For you and your partner. Whether you're with your partner or not. This is not necessarily a soulmate reading. Oyster. Wow. Okay. Oyster is really, really nice energy. And we also have the Panther. All right. Great. Both of these are really nice energy. So let's take a look at those before we go ahead into the spread. And I do welcome everybody. I'm just going to say welcome to anybody who's watching. And if you have any questions, please feel free. I'll see if I can, I'll be checking the computer to see if I have my laptop open. I can see you guys. I'll be here to chat with you guys. But first, let's get into the oysters. So we have two very different animal spirits here, right? We have a water elemental. That upside down triangle is for water. All right, and so what we're talking about here is we're talking about the hidden gem, right? The hidden gem. So with an oyster, let's just take a look at an oyster in the wild. What do they produce? We all know that the oyster produces a beautiful pearl, right? But how does that pearl come about? The pearl is actually created because of irritation, right? Sand and things get inside the oysters. Inside the shell, which is its outer protection inside of it, and it creates friction, it creates irritation, right? And irritation, and what happens is slowly over time, this pearl forms. And so when we apply that to an individual, you're talking about somebody who over time has really learned how to take some of life's most difficult times, right? Some of life's irritable times, and turn it into a gem. Oyster is the card for patience, right? This is a person who's very, very patient, Sagittarius. So it could be that you're dealing with a water sign who is patient, or you could be dealing with any kind of sign, really, who has this ability, right, to kind of take their time, has this ability when times are tough, instead of reacting, to just kind of take the irritation and turn it into something positive. Oyster is also the great secret keeper. So you may have somebody in your life who's willing to keep your secrets. They may be keeping secrets, right? This is a person who doesn't really give up a lot of information, right? The focus and the determination of the oyster is pretty unmatched in that way, right? And so in a lot of ways, they have a really strong personality, but they're very, very private. They're very hidden. And within them, there are hidden treasures. These are people who have really beautiful talents and qualities, but they may not always be the first one to bring it out into the forefront, right? Oftentimes, oftentimes they actually take it for granted, some of the skills and qualities that they have, right? Because of their sort of like, they don't have this need to sort of like throw it in everybody's face. They know, but then at the same time, they also kind of take a lot of their skills for granted, right? So this is a very complex individual. And if you're dealing with somebody like this, Sagittarius, I would imagine that speaking with them is going to be very important because of their sort of tendency to keep everything in. Right? Their tendency to keep secrets. Now, the Panther is a fire element. Now, you might be resonating with Panther energy. I'm not sure, Sagittarius, but the Panther is the card for annihilation, purging things that are unnecessary in your life. The Panther kind of pounces into our lives and causes a lot of havoc and chaos, right? But the reason for this is because your life generally, when this happens, it generally means that there's purging that needs to happen. Now, when we're talking about resonating with a personality like this, it could be that right now you are handling, right, this energy very well. You might be handling this sort of chaotic energy around you quite well. You may indeed be causing some chaos around you right now. You might not be sure why. You might be thinking like, why am I even resonating with this energy? It could be that Panther is at play in the sense that is this energy is causing you to shake things up because things need to be shaken up. Oftentimes the Panther comes in when you're stuck in kind of a situation, a living situation, for instance, that's keeping you down, it's keeping your progress down or your motivation down, right? Excuse me, I have to take a sip of coffee. And then for instance, let's say something really chaotic happens and suddenly you have to move. And in the meantime, you're thinking, this is crazy. You suddenly have to come up with all of these solutions. But once the dust settles, you almost always realize that Panther energy was at play because everything that you've purged as a result of this kind of chaotic situation was necessary for you to purge. Usually it was something that was standing in your way for progress. Now, this could indeed involve arguments. You guys may have had a big argument. This could very well be that you and your person had an argument recently and it was really, really a lot, but a lot of information came out. A lot of true feelings came out. It could be that this argument allowed your person who's resonating with this oyster quality also to talk about their feelings, right? And so we also have heart-to-heart conversations, which is quite in line with both energies. And what will happen as a result of this, though, is that the dust would settle and the relationship probably would be stronger. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into the reading. All right, we're going to pull out your 9-card spread. And this is to say that oyster energy is water and Panther is fire, but that does not necessarily mean you're dealing with a water element person in astrology. Your person may not be a water sign, Sagittarius, right? Your person can be any sign, but it's this quality of them that they're bringing out, okay? And the same is true for you, right? You indeed could be the one who's actually resonating with the oyster energy in the sense that you're the one keeping a lot of the secrets. You're the one kind of keeping things to yourself. It could be that you're the one who's been recently maybe taking a lot of your skills for granted, and your person may be resonating with Panther energy and causing a lot of upheaval. But remember, the Panther, the kind of chaos the Panther creates is necessary. All right, so let's just see, Sagittarius. We're gonna go ahead and get ready to pull out. Hi, Rockin' Robin. I was wondering if you were gonna catch this. I'm so sorry I started late. I was like trying to get my stream up and everything. I'm so glad to see you, darling. And of course you're cross watching, right? All right. So let's get right into it. We're gonna pull out your 9-card spread for Sagittarius. All right, and we're going to take it all in turn. Let's start. Oh, we have the Fool, the Emperor, and 9 of Wands. All right. Okay, next up we have the Ace of Pentacles. Center card is Knight of Pentacles, and we have 5 of Swords. Another Pentacle, Page of Pentacles, the Sun, and we have 10 of Wands. There's your completion that you started up here. All right. So we're going to get right into it. Bottom of the deck is 2 of Cups, and that is true love. Right. So this works very well with the messages that we have on deck. This could be a really chaotic situation right now, but I'm going to say a lot of it probably has to do with finances and a money situation right away off the bat. When I look at it, I see Knight of Pentacles at the center, and the center card for this spread is going to be the main focus of what's going on, Sagittarius. And Knight of Pentacles, oftentimes people say Knight of Pentacles talks about someone coming in who's bringing an opportunity, right? Now, of course, this is true, and this is one of the things about the court cards that makes them so hard to interpret. Certainly, when you haven't really studied them for a long time, because the Knight of Pentacles, all of the court cards are energies within inside of ourselves and stages within inside of ourselves that we go through. They also indicate stages in our life. Now here I'm saying Knight of Pentacles is talking about somebody who's kind of on their way. So Sagittarius, this is really you. This is not someone coming in for you. This is you. And when I say this is you, right? The Knight of Pentacles, the ability the Knight of Pentacles has is that once he sets his mind on something, he goes for it until it is accomplished. Oftentimes, he's considered the slowest moving knight in the deck, but it's not so much that he's slow moving, it's that he's methodical and he continues to go step by step until he accomplishes his task. Sometimes that task can take a long time, and that can be misrepresented as being a slow moving horse. But, you know, don't take that for granted. So we're going to get right into the top row. We start off with the Fool, all right? So right now, Sagittarius, the Fool almost always represents you starting a new stage in life. It almost always represents you taking a quantum leap, right? We talk about the Fool taking a leap of faith because he's about to start something new. And this is true. He takes a leap of faith because he's starting a new stage in his life. And oftentimes a new stage in your life requires a leap of faith. But more than anything, we always have to remember that the Fool represents you. Always you, the querent, the person we're reading for. And it represents you and where you are at on a tree of life in terms of what stage you're at. And when the Fool shows up, not only are you about to start something new, but you are also about to take a quantum leap in your awareness, your realization, your wisdom, your experience. It's necessary. We don't start new stages in our lives until we have learned what we needed to learn from the last stage. So the Fool not only involves moving ahead, but it also involves taking a major leap in your awareness. Now we have the Emperor on deck too, and I want to say that this is also, I want to say that you're resonating with this energy in the sense that you're almost reasserting your authority in a particular scenario. I'm going to say maybe that you are, and I don't necessarily believe this is in the relationship. I want to say that this is going to necessarily be in your life, Sagittarius, that something has happened somewhere along the line where you may have felt up until now as though your authority, your ability to set the narrative was threatened, was somehow perhaps threatened or maybe just nudged by someone else who wanted to sort of take this spot from you. Now, I say that in the sense that, Sagittarius, this is very important for you. For this particular Sagittarius who this reading may be resonating with, your ability to be the leader and to be in charge is very important for you. Now, this step that you're taking with the Fool is putting you on a path where this is going to come back in, right? This energy, this feeling of being the one to sort of steer the ship. Remember, Emperor number 4 is the number for stability. We're not just talking about being the leader, but we're also talking about regaining stability of your life according to you, right? The Emperor is the first 4. The second 4 is 14, which is Temperance, which is your card, okay? And Temperance is, of course, when you are able to lead yourself. The Emperor is the leader of man. Temperance is when you are able to command yourself. He commands the land and the men around. And so this is the connection here, right? But of course, for you right now, Sagittarius, this is quite important. Now we get to that 9 of Wands. And interestingly enough, just as I say you're about to make a quantum leap and sort of reestablish your kind of throne, as it were, you're looking back on a really difficult stage in life. And 9 of Wands indicates that there's a period in your life that you're starting to look back on. And you're starting to realize all of these things you've been holding on to, which have really been leftovers from the battles, the burdens, the responsibilities of a particular stage in your life. Remember the 9, we see down here the 10, right? Which would be the next step. But before you can lay down the wands with the 10, you have to know what they are. And so in the 9 of Wands, this is when we talk about also taking that last bit of energy to push through so you can get to Ten of Wands. But all of that is also part of you finally looking back on the stage that you've been kind of in, like inside the bubble. Now you're looking at the bubble and you're realizing all of these wands are the baggage that you've collected along the way. You're starting to realize that it's baggage. There may have been a time before that these wands were helpful for you. You can see that he's quite alienated from the rest of the world by them. It may have been a crutch for you at a time. And now this is to say, when you're carrying a lot of burdens and responsibilities, this could even be taking care of someone, taking care of a sick person or sick loved one, someone you really have a close connection with. You do it out of your heart, but it's still a burden to bear. It's still a responsibility, right? And out of this burden and this is just an example, all right? But this is an example of what Nine of Wands is talking about. But out of this burden, there's a lot of things that that we suffer through taking on this responsibility, right? Then also certain things can come along with that, certain hang-ups, certain self-esteem issues, maybe self-confidence, because you've been really not living necessarily your life, but really going through a difficult period of responsibility. Now, Nine of Wands talks about seeing that and getting prepared to see it for what it is and lay it down. This is all part of this new stage that you're starting, Sagittarius. And I want to say you're going to come into the month with this, right? Now, right on the heels of all of this, and this Nine of Wands is quite interesting. It's interesting that it will come up on the heels of the Fool energy, because this quantum leap, I want to say, in terms of realization, and really, this is all part of this journey. They're kind of, they feed off of each other. You've learned something from the journey, so you're about to take your leap and move on, right? But because you're about to take your leap and move on, you're able to look back on a journey and also eventually let go of some hang-ups you've collected along the way, which we see down here with the Ten of Wands. Now, on the heels of all of this, I want to say there's a really awesome opportunity that comes in for you this month, Sagittarius. This Ace of Pentacles. Now, the Ace of Pentacles is quite interesting because not only is it a beautiful opportunity, right? But this is the type of opportunity that often can set us up for a family. This is the type of opportunity that often can get us actually ready to support other things in our life. This is symbolic by the wreathed entryway, the entryway to the garden. The garden represents creativity, right? It also can represent love and relationships, right? And so this kind of opportunity, I want to say to Sagittarius, for some of you, if you haven't been able to have the type of relationship you want to have because of money, the opportunity comes in this month. All right? The opportunity comes in, and it comes in on the heels of everything that's happening up here. It could be that this responsibility you're finally you're coming close to being able to lay down is freeing you up in so many different ways that, of course, the law of attraction is at work, and in comes your opportunity, right? Now, you realize this, and you become, with this Knight of Pentacles, I want to say you become even more sort of free to follow your path. Now we begin to understand why you have a Knight of Pentacles. Because after you have been freed from this kind of burden here, now you realize that you're ready to really move on with your life's ambition. Now, I'm sure you're probably saying, what does all of this have to do with a love reading, right? Well, we're going to get right into that because we have a Five of Swords here. Somebody here has got five is the number for power struggle. There's a power struggle that comes in, and of course there's a power struggle that comes in because we just talked about up here where you reasserted yourself in an area in your life. Of course you're going to have a challenge to that, but that challenge is really, this person is really not up to the task. They're going to resort to sort of underhanded means to try to win. The attitude usually with this type of character is just like to forget about them. Nobody takes them serious. You can see that the two people walk away in disgust because this person isn't honorable. He's not winning this match in an honorable way, right? Oftentimes, this can be competition or people who feel as though they're competition, but if you really see them for who they are, they're no competition at all. This can be dangerous energy, though, because if it gets you sucked in, if it sucks your ego in, then you very quickly come down to their level, and then you succumb to it anyway. So you have to stand above it all. Now, the reason why this is all about a love reading, because somewhere along the line, Sagittarius, this reading is for Sagittarius who is with someone, but your career and your money have been a blockage in the relationship. Somewhere along the line, your sense of your self and who you are, and I don't want to say self-respect, but just that kind of good self-feeling that we have comes from the work you do, comes from your ability to bring in abundance and finance, comes from your ability to take on burdens and responsibilities. And a lot of this has really been in the way of you coming together with your person. This is, we go back to Panther energy and Oyster energy. Remember what I said, that the Panther comes in like chaos to purge the unnecessary. It can be, Sagittarius, that as you come through some of this month, this energy will come in to purge away some of the unnecessary things that you've been dealing with. I'm going to say to some of you Sagittarius who are resonating with this, we'll have to at some point decide how much time you give to the world around you and how much time you give to your relationship. Right? Now, let's get into the third row. This Five of Swords is really nothing to be worried about. Like I said, of course you're going to have a power struggle. Of course you're going to have people. Hey, Rucky Shot. How you doing? I hope I mentioned that right. I love you. To be the of course he wants to be the provider. So this is what I mean, right? This is going to resonate with some of you Sagittarius, because, and this is what I say in my love readings, why sometimes you can't force it, right? We don't, I can't force this into a hearts card. It's a pentacles card, but it comes up for a reading because this is Sagittarius for you, right? And for cross watchers who are watching this, this Sagittarius will not be comfortable in a relationship until he knows he can provide, until he's happy, until he's fulfilled with his own ambition. It's all, and I'm going to say this is not gender specific, folks. This could be female, male, doesn't matter. If it's a female, it's the same thing. You're not going to be satisfied unless you have your own money. You're not going to be satisfied unless you feel like you're bringing something to the table. If you're a male Sagittarius, it's going to be doubly so because we have the masculine energy of Emperor here. Right? Now, when we get to that third row, we talk about Page of Pentacles, Sun, and 10. So the Page of Pentacles is going to be someone, Sagittarius, who's extremely practical, who comes in to help you. Right? This is a friend. I'm going to say this could be a friend, a confidant, just usually like a buddy. I'm going to say this, but this buddy is very earthy, very, very practical. And they're going to come in, I think they're going to come in and help you with this scenario here. They're going to be like, they know the people or whoever these characters are who are kind of giving you this power struggle. This individual is going to come and help you with it. The Page of Pentacles is that kind of really grounded individual. He knows how to come in and fix something really quickly. An example would be that if you're traveling or something like that, if you're doing some kind of special work and suddenly you run into a problem, this person is the one who suddenly knows how to fix it in a jiffy. This is the person you sit down, you have a beer with or whatever, or you go out and you socialize with them, and they're always like really, really steadfast and practical. They're in your corner, and they're going to come in and really be a support to you. Could be somebody younger than you, Sagittarius. It could be like a younger brother as well, or a younger sister who comes in to help you, right? But this is also because this opportunity is coming in and you really decide to take this opportunity. But remember what I said, Sagittarius, right? This opportunity, I understand this is important for you, right? But there are certain things you are going to have to let go, right? Now we're going to get into this over here with the Sun. As this person comes in, as you get through the month and you deal with this power struggle, what's going to happen as well is there's going to be some clarity. And clarity is going to come in with the Sun card in the sense that, and we have heart-to-heart conversations here, remember, on the romance angel message, right? There's going to be clarity on who you can trust and who you can't. Who you can be close to and who you can't. Because a lot of what's happened here has come out of the fact that there has been division in your social circle, right? And this is where the power struggle comes from. This is where your desire up here to move on comes from. This is where your need to reassert your authority comes from, because something that you've been dealing with in your life, whether it's family, your social circle, and it's going to be something that also impacts your money, your ability to bring in cash, right? There is where there lies some trouble or sort of some division. And I don't think people have been completely honest with you. In the end of the month, you're going to see that. It's going to come with the help of that Page of Pentacles as well. This person is going to be, like I said, your close friend. But you're going to be able to also see who your friends are and who they aren't. And that is what finally pushes you to the Ten of Wands. Right? That Ten of Wands is going to be you laying down the burdens that you've been carrying up here for quite some time. I'm going to say for some of you, these burdens could have been, I want to say, Sagittarius, for some of you, you've really been taking on the problems of the world at the expense of your relationship. You've been sacrificing, I want to say, some of you, your love connection for all of this other crap, I want to say, really, that you've taken on. And as a result of all of this, you finally realize it's time to lay it down. Ten of Wands talks about laying down the wands. You can see the character is he's kind of leaning forward on the wands as if to support his forward momentum, right? So that's like a crutch, right? And he thinks he needs them to stay upright. But at the Ten of Wands, he begins to understand that it's not a crutch. And the only thing that it's doing is that it's blinding him from where he's going. And it's that understanding that allows him to finally make that last push and lay these wands down. Now, what are the wands representative of? The wands can be self-esteem issues. They can be self-confidence issues. They can be baggage from previous relationships. They can be hang-ups that we were raised with as children that we carried around with us as crutches. These wands here represent any kind of crutch that we've had in our life that's held back our fire. Because, of course, wands are fire, right? And when our fire is held back, right, when our ambition, wands talks about our fire for life. Right? So when we have self-esteem issues, our fire for life is dampened just a little bit. When we have baggage from previous relationships that make us feel bad or guilty or less than who we are, our fire is dampened just a little bit. So Ten of Wands talks about laying down those types of baggages and burdens and crutches that we've collected, so that once again we can come to the Ace of Wands and your fire is burning brightly again. Right? So I want to say overall, and listen, Sagittarius, the reason why this is quite interesting reading, yeah, I got my nails done, did you see? I know. I've been really lazy about my nails, guys. I don't even know why, because like I'm such like a garden girl, like my nails get so messed up. But anyway, that's an aside. But thank you for noticing, Rocky Shot. Yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys, Sagittarius, and for you cross-watchers, there's still true love here. And like I said, Sagittarius, you in particular, look at this. We still have the Two of Cups, right? Coming in with true love and heart-to-heart, right? So what I said earlier is that these are all of the things that you've really been kind of spending your time on to the expense of a connection, right? To a certain degree. Now, your connection is still strong because your person loves you that much. But I'm going to say that this should also be a wake-up call for you, Sagittarius. Oh, and here we go. There's the Ace of Wands. See? All right? So what did I say here? We lay that down. Finally, your fire burns again for what? The Ace of Wands. Now, beautifully enough, what I will say is that for you Sagittarius who really follow this, who, and I'm not saying this, you have to follow what I'm talking about. I'm saying that if this resonates with you, if these are the events that happen throughout this month for you, basically, right? When you do, if and when you come to this Ten of Wands, you need to redouble your efforts with your true love. Take the energy that you've been putting into these issues with these people and this kind of divide here. Take the energy that you've saved now, laying down these burdens, and put it into your relationship. Have a heart-to-heart with your person and talk to them, because they're still here. The connection is still there. They're still here. They still love you, but you have to put some time in. All right? So this is it, guys. This is the reading for October. All right, if you guys have any questions, I'm going to stay on. You can go ahead and send me any questions if you want. I'll leave the reading out, or if you wanted me to pull any more cards, you can let me know. I guess I'll stay on for a few more minutes, guys. Let me just get a chance, take a moment to read through the texts that you've been sending me. Yeah, lately the Sagittarius readings have been deep, right? And you guys, you regulars know I'm a Sagittarius myself, but they have been really awesome. But remember, guys, like, I'm not an astrologer, but remember this. There is a 2-year aspect that's happening for Sagittarius now, with Jupiter going into a good position. It goes retrograde here and there, but for 2 years, it's going to be in a really good position. And we've all, Sagittarius as a whole collective, have really had a crappy last couple of years. So the readings are going to be much more about purging, much more about really going for your ambition, going for your love connections. So we'll be interested to see how it progresses. And of course, the mid-month reading, we can also see how that goes. Oh, hello, Mrs. Rookie Shot. Is it Rookie Shot? Rookie Shot. Now I get it. Yeah, you got to get your shit together sometimes, you know. Yeah, Rockin' Robin. Yeah, I mean, this is what I meant to say, Rockin' Robin. She's reading your text here. Absolutely. Absolutely true in terms of what you were saying about, like, it seems like getting professional life together is more important. Yeah, and that's all well and good, but the thing with that is that, you know, oftentimes, you know, getting your professional life together can take a lifetime, right? And the idea of putting things off until everything is perfect is the thing that's this Sagittarius, and I'm talking to cross watchers now, right? And the Sagittarius as well, if you're listening. That's one of the things that you have to understand, is that oftentimes if we keep waiting until certain areas in our lives are perfect to begin other areas in our lives, it never happens. Because perfection never happens, right? And especially if you're on a road to a career, you have to find a way to make time for your relationship as well as moving on with your career, right? Because, you know, this idea that, oh yeah, well, once I have this, and once I have that, and once I make a certain amount, or once I'm a certain amount successful, or once I have a certain amount of businesses, or whatever the case may be, this is just an example, then I'll have time to be with my loved one. Then I'll have time. That's a sucker move, honestly, because it never comes through. You end up, this is how people end up being 60 years old and missing out on the love of their lives. Realizing that for the last 20 years, they've been chasing something that would take them 20 or 30 years to accomplish, but they've sacrificed so much. If only they had also made room for their loved one that whole time, they could have spent 20 years following their dream and also being with their lover. And so in this way, I want to say, be careful, Sagittarius. Exactly. You know, this illusion that we have all the time in the world is an illusion. You know, be careful, Sagittarius, that you don't sacrifice the here and now. And also, this was what I'm saying up here as well. This was a lot of energy that's been wasted on other people for the sake of God knows what. Pay attention to this Page of Pentacles. Cross watchers, you may be this Page of Pentacles for your Sagittarius this month. In the sense that you may be the one who's like, listen, especially with heart-to-heart conversations, because Page of Pentacles talks about talking as well, right? It's time, you know, it may be time for you to sit them down and say, look, this is how it is. You know, practically, in a very practical way. Have that heart-to-heart. Let them know about what you've, you know, this pearl that you have inside of you as well that you want to share, right? So I think that, yeah, for some of you, you know, and then of course this is not going to resonate with everybody. You may only resonate with bits and pieces of it, but this is pretty much the spread for the month. All right, guys, I am going to call it. It's 10:38. This video is much longer than I expected it to be, but I do appreciate you all for coming by. I'm going to try to get my streaming together better next time, but I'm glad I was able to give you guys the reading. So without further ado, I'm going to try to do a few more live streamings this weekend, and I might try to do a live streaming of the weekly reading as well, guys. But for right now, I'm going to call it a night. Thank you so much. I love you all so much. Thank you, and have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.